So this is a conversation that I'm gonna continue having with a seller that I've been working with on a previous call, and he's in a senior assisted living facility and wants to talk numbers. So let's give him a call.
Hello.
Hey Carlos, how you doing?
Good, good. Thank you.
Everything okay over there?
As far as I can see,
I know we were chatting yesterday, and I said, well, let me try and give him a call about same time tomorrow to see if we can help you figure out what you want to do with this house in Calle Paz. So if you had any thoughts after we spoke yesterday.
well, so far I've come up with I'd like to make the most money possible and go ahead and get out from under it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That makes sense. I mean, most of our sellers do the same. In an ideal world, our funding department will just pay $1, but somewhere in the middle, there's a happy medium, right?
Could be, yeah. If you got to work at it. That's the whole point. You can't just jump on the first offer and like there's a ton of you guys out there, man. It's unbelievable. I must have had at least a good half a dozen calls. It's amazing. I guess there's a big market for flipping houses and things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's a lot of houses, a lot of teams
No,
out there. Ultimately, if we can get to a point that it makes sense for you and it makes sense for us, if not, that's fine too.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah. Did you fill out, I'm assuming you filled out a lot of forms online? Maybe that's why you're getting so many calls?
No, I believe 2 inquiries. One was a while back, and then the other one was just recently, and that's, I guess, what sparked it all.
That makes sense. And did you, I guess let me ask you something. I see there's an Alfredo Venegas on the tax record. Is that you? I'm assuming that's you?
That's my legal name, yeah, Alfredo Carlos Venegas.
Oh, okay. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
They used to call me AC in high school, but I hated that, so.
Okay.
But I'm always
Gotcha.
gone as Carlos.
Gotcha. Well, maybe you got a call from one of my colleagues. I'm one of 3 acquisition guys here.
I think you're absolutely right.
So maybe that's one of the calls that you got. And I know we're actively negotiating another house in that area, in that same zip code. So as I had explained, my job is to try and get something approved with funding. Either me or one of my colleagues is going to get something this week. We're probably just looking for one more. And if I recall, yesterday you were leaning more towards listing it, it sounded like, because of the higher sales price.
I was very impressed. As a matter of fact, he sparked me to pull her name up. It was Priscilla Terrazas. What I liked about her was her positivity. I mean, we walked the house. She was very impressed with it. She ran a market or block analysis and came up with the price. And there, she wasn't one of these type that just points out every little flaw and mishap that's in there. Seemed to overcome every obstacle. And to me, that's worth its weight in gold.
Got it. Well, it sounds like you're pretty sold on that agent there. It's two different type of approaches, right? Because a lot of times the real estate agents, they'll try and advertise it for a certain price, but then you got to reduce it. So are you okay maybe trying to list with her, and if she needs to price reduce eventually, you'll be okay with that?
Yeah, I'm wide open. You bring me the options, and I'll evaluate them and assess them as we go. I'm in no rush. I'm willing to listen to all the offers. And there was one other thing that comes to mind. Like I said, I'm not stuck on the price per se. It's basically how trouble-free it's going to be, how little I have to invest, when I turn it over. I'm not real bent on the shape of listing it, but that is an option if need be.
Yeah. Makes sense. I remember when we spoke yesterday, we looked at the market together, and I shared with you at least what we're seeing in our side and kind of like the.
Pinto Resco.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. I said, yeah, the house on Pinto Resco. As a matter of fact, that has come up a couple of times now.
Yeah. Is it okay if I share with you my concern?
Sure. Yeah.
So a listing at 200,000, 205,000 with a comp like that sold, for 137, our concern is that if we were to list this, we're probably going to end up having to reduce the price so many times, especially with winter coming up, that we would have looked at it a little bit differently. Not saying that you have to do that, but I mean that's our concern. That I mean, if we just go to market in its current state with the finishes, although we hopefully we can sell it for 300,000. I mean, that would be great. We just don't, we question if it would be realistic, knowing that in order for it to sell that high, the only house that sold for that high of a range was done up and down. Even though it had foundation issues, it seems that they were addressed, right? You remember that house that had all the finishes done?
Yeah, on Villa Santos. I've been through it.
It was completely redone.
So I'm well aware of what the problems are with that house.
But I mean, it sounds like it had foundation issues, right? That's what you share with me?
No, it didn't sound like it did have foundation issues. And they continue to grow. That whole area was developed just very, very poorly. Matter of fact, I have another neighbor on Villa Santos where his plumbing line just came apart, and that's through just massive movement.
But you don't see that in your house? Your house is right on that corner of Villa Santos.
I've been there quite a while, and I haven't had any issues, so knock on wood, I hope not. I could be lying, but so far so good. I've been very blessed with not a whole lot of issues with it.
Yeah, well, that would be concerning. I guess, to be frank with you, we are looking for sellers that are looking to make a decision. Doesn't sound like you need to make a decision at this point, that maybe you want to wait for the listing approach. We do have an as-is listing proposal, but we would probably suggest to try and list it at 155, 150 to get it sold as is, since there's that house that sold for 137 and it was in similar shape. But it sounds like that may be below your expectations in terms of what the market's doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm not even interested at that rate. Like I said, I'm not going to be hurried into this. I don't want to make any snap or rush decisions. And I've always gone by, you've heard the term, it's easier to start high and then work your way down than to start low and try to get more,
Yeah, I mean, if you're no rush and you're okay reducing it and the balls are going to drop where the balls are going to drop, then I guess that's your predicament.
I'd like to explore the many options that are available also. There's quite a few inquiries and people haven't in touch with debt now. I'm going to work through all the deals till I come up with a medium, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, I mean, we could put $1 million on a contract. That doesn't mean that's going to close, So we rather talk with facts.
I'm not looking for and I'm not looking to donate the house either, Basically, we're just not in the same ballpark there,
No, I don't see it neither. Perhaps maybe if you want to explore a listing, even though you got to reduce it later on and you're okay with that, that's your decision to make. I guess you're okay with putting the vacant property insurance and leaving the house sit until it gets sold?
Well, I'm very close with all my neighbors, even the guy next door. And so the house is pretty well covered. I'm not afraid of anything happening to it. It's pretty much cleared out. I've let my daughters have whatever they want to from there. If I could come across a fair and reasonable offer, then I probably will go for that and move on down the road. Right now, I'm not sensing that. I think yours is too much based on a property that sold for ridiculously low. A lot of factors deal into that, like block analysis, your neighborhood conditions, and things of that nature, upgrades. So
yeah, I mean, the only house that sold for that high was done top to bottom, and as you will share, you're very used to construction and know how labor shortage and materials have caused construction costs to go up. And so, if we have to budget $45 to $50,000 to rehab a house and pay commissions and all that. There's just no room for anybody else in there. I mean, we can offer an easy as is sale, but it has to make sense. And I know we're negotiating one just across for 127, not too far away. 3-2 townhome on Trywood Drive. I think we'll probably call a duck what it is, a duck, and we'll wish you the best. And if something changes, feel free to reach back out.
Okay.
So as you can see, not every seller has enough pain to move now. You want to make a friend and you want to follow up. I don't necessarily think that just pressing on and pushing on and just like insulting them is going to help, because at that point they're just going to block you off. So what you want to do at this point is make a friend and kind of price anchor with comps, price anchor with other numbers, see how they react to that. And if it's not the right timing, it's not the right timing. In our system, our machines, we go ahead and move it over to a 2-month follow-up or a 2-week follow-up. And things change. People are, faced with situations all the time. He may figure out that listing it at this price, just waiting, may not be a fit. And so we're better off just parting as friends. Hope that was useful.